Figured it out. Ugh, it's such a bummer that I had to restart the entire chat. Unfortunately, I had to do that. I'm so sorry. So hopefully you guys will see that I am live on a different, area of YouTube. I had to close out of the old one and come back into the new one. And so hopefully you guys will trickle over. Cherry's Jubilee, you're on it, my dear. I love you. She's like here in a matter of like seconds. I love it. So hopefully everybody else will trickle over to this feed. I don't know what happened to the last feed, but we're not going to waste any time talking about that. What I am going to do though is we're going to wrap up at 9 o'clock. It's going to give us at least 20 minutes. Hi, Felicia Adams. Hi, Susan Abner. Yes, it is fixed. I'm so glad. And I would feel so bad if I had to reschedule this. So really glad to see you guys trickle over. So let me just go ahead and start talking. We're going to go ahead and wrap up at 9 o'clock. I literally have a timer on my phone because I tend to go over because I just explain and I over explain. But I wanted to give you guys this video because recently I've been talking a lot about families and toxic families and, schizophrenia within the family, psychosis. And then recently I talked about the connection or relationship between schizophrenia and narcissism. And so someone had sent me a fantastic email and said, Tamara, you did a video years ago on toxic family members, and I will try to pull that up for you because you might actually like it and want to go back and see it. And she's like, can you please do another video on toxic families, but can you tell us how to fix it, how to heal? And my first response to that was, I can't tell you how to fix it, but I can give you tips on how to manage it. And so that's what I'm going to do with you in tonight's live video. Now, let me pull this up for you. I'm going to show you what that video is in case you didn't see it. I should be able to find it. Here it is right here, guys. I don't know if you can see that. Uh-oh. How do I go back? Here we go. It's that icon at the top there. And I did that 2 years ago. It is, can I heal from my toxic family? And I really do tease apart what a toxic family is from a traumatic family and how to kind of get out of the mindset of family is everything. I love family. I think it's beautiful. I think it's wonderful when it's mutual love and respect, when it's healthy. But when it's not, run. I don't think you need to be abused by family members just because you were born into a connection with them, if you know what I mean. Hi, Fairy Girl. I see you. Glad to see you. So let me go ahead and jump into this. I want to give you guys 10 ways that you can kind of heal from toxic family members, toxicity within your family, and kind of how to heal yourself in the process. So the first thing that I like to suggest specifically to my clients that come in to see me when they have toxic families is that you have to alter your mindset. Now, that's really hard when you go to therapy or you come to channels like mine. The last thing that you want to hear somebody say, especially a therapist, is alter your mind. So let me explain what I mean by that. I think we have existed in a society that says family is everything. Don't leave your family. Don't abandon your family. Don't walk away. Make it work. No matter how abusive they are, your family, your blood is thicker than water, and the list just goes on, right? I think even most of our holidays in the United States is geared towards family, right? You can't even celebrate Christmas without, seeing some photo of family smiling and having a wonderful time. And yet you're over there hurting because your family is not quite like the commercials. So I think what I mean by alter your mindset is we have to learn, and I had to over time as well, and my mother and my brother, and the list goes on, my clients, co-workers, we've had to learn how to step out of that societal and cultural lie, and really step back and look at our own family and say, okay, my family doesn't fit the commercials, and so I better find some way to get out of this, because this is not a perfect family story. Something bad is going to happen to me if I don't get out of it. So learning how to alter your mind is learning to step out of that cultural and social norm that's been created, that family is everything. Don't walk away, so you want to be able to look at your situation, alter your mind, and make a decision that is best for you. I see you guys commenting so much here. Thank you. Hi, Sunflower Heather. I see you. Thank you, Felicia Adams. I do see what you're saying. Thank you. And I'm glad you made it, Sunflower. Heather, I'm glad you made it as well. So that's number one, alter your mind. Now, I think the second thing to look at is the fact that every family has a different foundation upon which they operate. What I mean by this is that not every family has the same rules, the same cultural beliefs, the same religion or spiritual beliefs, the same personality, the same attitude and needs and wants and desires. So to look at somebody else's situation and say, well, their family worked, why can't mine? Or if I just work at it, my family could be like Susie's over there. Instead of doing that, you want to be able to pump the brakes and say, you know what? I don't know what's happening in Susie's family. By all appearances, it seems okay, but the reality is, I really don't know what's going on there. And another thought that just came to me today when I was talking with another client was we're not always connected by blood in a family either, right? Family could be friends and coworkers, and family can also be people that we foster and adopt into our lives. So visually what looks like a normal family may not be. By all appearances, yes, but reality, maybe not. So kind of playing around with that in your mind to kind of help you accept where you are, where your family is, and to kind of help yourself accept that, okay, my family is not quite like the commercials, and that's okay. I can heal through that. Okay. The next thing is learn the lingo. So what I do with you guys, and I totally love you guys are wonderful. All the comments and the emails and the texts and you guys are just wonderful, and I love how you communicate and create unity and camaraderie and community in the chat section. But when I do talk to you guys behind the scenes or when I'm on this channel, I really do try to give you the language, and I don't like psychological terminology for the fact that it elevates those of us who are psychotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. It elevates us so far above you sometimes, that you may feel lost. Like, how do I fit these pieces together? Like, what are you talking about? So I really try to give you the language on this channel. And believe it or not, and those who have been with me for years now, you probably know that learning the lingo is so healing. Because when you realize, okay, my dad's is a narcissist, my mother's a sociopath. Oh, my sister was triangulating the other day, right? Or that's a toxic family for sure. I know what that is because Tamara talked about it, or other therapists who are on YouTube, I should say. So learning the language is important, and it's very healing, very healing. So learn the language. I think that's one really good way to kind of heal with toxic family. Learn how to express yourself and learn what things mean. Do your research. I think education is truly power. I want to go back to a couple of you who are on here chatting. I saw you. I forgot her name and I just saw her. Gypsy Julie, welcome. It's okay that you're joining late. I had a big camera issue earlier, so you didn't miss much. So hello and welcome. Susan Abner says, I'm 60 years old and I finally went no contact with siblings. Let me say, Susan, I think that's terrific, especially if it's healthier for you. It may not be something that you wanted to do, and that's why it's taken so many years. I don't know. But I think freedom now at 60 is better than living a whole life, maybe a whole lifetime full of feeling imprisoned. So if that was a healthier decision, very happy for you. Very happy for you. I will probably share later what my personal experience has been. I do self-disclose within reason because I think it's therapeutic in and of itself. Fairy Girl says, better late than normal. I just sped her up a bit. Caught up now. Yeah. You didn't miss anything, Fairy Girl. You really did. None of you did. I had a camera issue, so... Dragon Man Sasson says, wow, this is profound and not considered socially acceptable. Yeah, absolutely. It is not socially acceptable. If I'm understanding what you're saying, I'm sure there are some family therapists, which I'm a family therapist. I'm trained in family therapy. I'm trained in trauma informed care. There are probably some clinicians who would look at me and say, we disagree with you. And that's fine. Disagree with me. I'm not here to please you. I'm here to please you guys who need me, I love my colleagues, but some of them would probably be like, oh my God, why aren't you keeping families together? I love family. Again, the issue is when it's unhealthy, you need to be able to feel that it's okay to walk away. Put that distance between you. That's healthier than being in prison for life. Like, that's not, mm-mm. I love how you guys comment with each other. Sunflower Heather says, I only speak to my brother, have my mother on low contact and zero physical contact for 7 months. I mean, I totally understand, Sunflower Heather. You may have to do it that way. Honestly, here's where I'm going to self disclose and then I'll get back into the video. So the only person that I communicate with in my immediate family right now, on my mother's side of the family, is my brother and his children, his wife, my other brother. I have two brothers. God help me, that was hard growing up with them. Uh, two brothers, and then my mom, and then I have a cousin who is more like an aunt, and that's about it, because my family is so split and there's so much intergenerational trauma. We have racial trauma in our family, we have multi-ethnic trauma, we have just emotional trauma and psychological trauma, and it has split up the older generations, and unfortunately the younger generations who are not very wise and considerate, has made it really hard for me to connect with them and vice versa. So I'm no contact with my extended part of my extended family because it's psychologically healthy for me. I can, and this may help you, I can see me better without them, if that makes sense. It's over the years where I have tried to reintegrate that I'm like, ugh, who am I? I don't know who I am. I don't feel like me, you know. It's outside of them that I can see myself. And so I hope that helps whoever's watching this, and some of you in the comment section as well. Sometimes in order to just get to know you, you need to separate. So good for you, Sunflower Heather. I think that's healthy if that's what it takes. um yeah. Cherry's Jubilee says walking away from family is like the worst taboo. Hi, Ricardo Rodriguez. Oh God, I just mess up everything. Hi, Ricardo. I see you. Looks like you agree with me. Sunflower Heather says I can see me better without them. Wow. Yes. Yeah. I thought that would resonate with you for sure. Noella Rose says very difficult to explain your different family dynamics to others, like a suit. Yeah, absolutely. So that's Noella Rose. She said it's hard to explain different family dynamics to other people. It certainly is, because again, we're all conditioned to believe family is everything. Family is everything. You know, blood is thicker than water, and all that cultural stuff, it has really seeped into us. You know, so when you try to explain, oh yeah, I'm no contact with my mother, or I'm no contact with my uncle or my sister or my brother, they're like, you're dysfunctional to them, right? And that's not the reality of it. You're not dysfunctional. You're trying to escape the dysfunction. That's really the reality of that, you know? All right, let's jump back into this, guys, because we have 10 things that we want to cover. So I think the next thing, which would be 4, would be, and I did do a video on this, learn to be okay with being alone in your family. Here's what I mean. Learn to be okay with being alone in your family. You may do no contact, you may separate, and that's okay. It's when other family members contact you and maybe they triangulate, right? So they put you in a triangle, they gossip, they share information. Oh, just wanted to let you know Susie over there is no contact with her mom. And then whoever they've told may call you and say, what's going on between you and your mom? That's triangulation. So that may happen, and that may really cause you to feel isolated or excluded from your family in many ways. I think also too, another way of kind of experiencing that isolation is not being able to look around you and see other people who have made the same decision, right? Like, we can see somebody over there who may have depression and anxiety. We can call up a friend who's been suicidal in the past and maybe they've cut. We can go to group therapy and see somebody who has borderline personality disorder. It really is difficult. I'm sorry, guys. It's like some kind of accident outside, if you can hear that. It's really difficult to pick up the phone or Google or find somebody nearby who has walked away from their family, and that can make you feel isolated. So I think over time, becoming okay with being alone in your family, outside of your family, is the key to healing, because it's only when you stop looking around looking for other people to like validate you or support you that you actually heal, because then that way you can go within and ask yourself, what's better for me, right? Not what other people think. You want to be able to pause and ask yourself, what's better for me? So be okay, learn to be okay with being alone in your family. My mom had to do it, my friends, my colleagues, even my clients to this day. And I've been in the field for 14 years. So it's normal. I'm just going to put that out there. The other thing is learn labels. So, I don't like the huge book that we have to diagnose. I don't think I have it, but I'm going to give you an example. This is how thick the diagnostic and statistical manual is. And that's really that big old book that we use to kind of categorize people and say they're depressed or anxious, and you have to meet criteria. I'm not a huge fan of that, and I talk about it all the time on the channel. And that's because it's so political and it's so cultural. You can go to a totally different country and all the labels be different, and all the criteria. So it really is a subjective with some science kind of a book. But I think it's okay to learn the lingo. Again, as I said at the beginning, learn what a narcissist is, learn what a toxic family really consists of, learn about triangulation. Something else I talk about on this channel a lot is sociopathic parents and family. Learn about that criteria. What is it? So that you can label it. I think once you label something, you give it life, right? You're not going to feel validated if you don't label something, because then you don't know what it is. It's ambiguous. It's nebulous. You don't know what it is. When you label it, you categorize it. You label it, you give it details so that you can then say, that's what's happening to me. That's what I'm not going to allow to continue to happen to me. And that's why I'm where I'm at in my life today, So you kind of give it life when you label. It's healthy to a certain extent. It's only when you over label that I'm like, maybe you shouldn't do that. Otherwise, label it, give it life, and learn to cope with it and be okay with it. You guys are commenting so much. I'm going to go back and go through this, I promise. But let's keep moving. Stay consistent. So that's the next one that I suggest. What I mean by this is sometimes within a family, we're so hurt and we can't really accept and believe that a family would treat us a certain way. So what do we do when it comes to holidays and invitations and weddings and graduations and other big events? What do we do? In my family, my clients' families, I'm sure maybe even in yours, here's how it goes. Someone invites you to something. It's a big thing, a wedding, a graduation, something, a birth of a child, even a funeral. They invite you. And then now you're put in a position of trying to figure out, do I go or do I not go? Do I answer? Do I not answer? How much should I reply or should I not reply at all? So it puts you in this limbo, Staying consistent means no matter what they pull on me to do or be a part of, I'm not going, because I know that if I go, I'm going to be put in a very uncomfortable position. I know I'm going to be judged, critiqued, and possibly even demeaned. You know what I mean? So staying consistent says, I stepped away from you for a specific reason, and I will not change my decision. Remain firm and consistent for you so that you can heal, but also for them, because what it's showing them is, this is my boundary of self-respect. Please respect me. That's kind of where I'm coming from with that. All right, you guys are like commenting and commenting. Let me check in, and then we're going to continue. So let me go all the way back. Okay, Susan Abner says, absolutely, most difficult decision, which was going no contact and putting space between she and her family. She says, but it was for my mental, physical, and emotional health. Absolutely. Once a scapegoat, always a scapegoat. Yeah, I agree with that, Susan. I definitely agree with that. I have scapegoats in my own family, and I have maybe 12 families on my caseload right now, and they are all 12 of them are scapegoats. And it's almost like it's a label that you're given that stays with you for the rest of your life, and is almost reinforced by maybe some of your own behaviors. So not talking to family or putting distance between you or going no contact, that kind of reinforces that scapegoat, you know what I mean, or that black sheep syndrome. And it's hard to maneuver your way out of that. It's unfair, but I'm sure you're well aware of what I'm talking about. Larry Cork, nice to see you on the channel. I don't remember seeing you, so welcome. He or she says, I have learned about projection and I now understand not to take criticism personally. Yeah, that's that label, Larry, that I was talking about. That being able to label something is giving it life, it's giving it breath. You're saying, this is what this is. And so now I know what it is. And so therefore, I'm not going to let it affect me. So thank you for that, because that was a great example. Projection is something that toxic families do all the time because it's easy. It's easy. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Ricardo Rodriguez. Please forgive me. Seriously. So if I don't have notes when I'm doing my YouTube videos, or if I don't have something, I just mispronounce everything. So please don't take it personal. It's just me. It's me. It's me. It's not you. It's me. So Ricardo's like in full agreement with me. I see that comment. I'm going to keep going. Keep going. Okay, so thank you, Sunflower Heather. She says profound. Noella Rose says the triangulation in my family has caused me a lot of grief. I never got the family I now know I deserved. Yeah. So Noella Rose, I know the feeling of that, and I've been where you are and feeling that way. And it took me, I think, most of my young adult life, so most of my 20s, to realize that, wait a minute, I didn't really lose anything. I actually gained something when I hit 30, when I hit 32, when I hit 34. I gained something, and that was freedom. And so that was better than anything I thought I lost, But I think also, Noella Rose, it's good to keep in mind that losing or never having a family is a loss. So grieve that and allow yourself to grieve that, and then allow yourself to heal and rebound from that too. TNT, welcome to the chat. I don't remember seeing you, so welcome. Mother's Day is coming up. Still tough when no contact. Yes, it is. Mother's Day has been a huge issue with many of my clients, my adult clients, which I have 12 adult cases on my full caseload right now, and they are all struggling with Mother's Day because, again, what I said earlier, it's that cultural and social narrow-minded view that family is everything. And so you're going to be hit with commercials. You're going to be hit with maybe music that reminds you of moms. You're also going to be hit with advertisements and, things popping up on your YouTube channel or your YouTube account or your Twitter account. Like, you're going to be bombarded with that. And so my suggestion, if I could offer a suggestion, is that you kind of see it, but don't see it. So if you know that you've separated from your mom for a particular reason, then keep that in the forefront of your mind while also having hope that maybe one day things will change. But I would block out that Mother's Day thing if you find it difficult. Now, my own mom, she's absolutely wonderful. I'm so grateful and blessed to have such a wonderful mom. She's given her all to me and my siblings. My own mom, though, we lost my grandmother 2 years ago unexpectedly. Like, she was the strongest woman in the whole entire world. And we lost her during COVID. She did not pass away from COVID, but she was in the hospital in that time. And so my mom, now that Mother's Day is coming up, she has to relive all that trauma we went through, relive that loss, that pain, that emptiness, So just know, number one, you're not alone, because there are other people who are suffering as well when it comes to moms. And number two, like my mom is doing, you're going to have to block out that stuff so that you can continue to move forward. All right, let's get back to the video, okay, guys? And then I'm going to go ahead and continue to read your comments, and then answer. And then we're going to wrap up probably 9:15 because it looks like I'm over a little bit. Okay, so the last one that we came from was consistency. I also suggest community. So try to find community in different areas. I think my YouTube channel has become a community for all of you. And believe me, it really does make my heart happy to see that you guys support each other. You comment, and I've seen you guys like happy to like see each other's screen names. Like I think that's so healing. So find community with people that get you. You don't want to try to fit in with people who don't get you, because you're going to be ridiculed, you're going to be criticized. They may show that they support you or that they understand, but there's probably going to be a huge question mark. Do you really understand? So find community where you're going to be understood. That's healing in and of itself. I'm going to say the next one is allow yourself to heal. Now, I think because this is such a difficult topic, it's easy to say, you know what, I don't care what they did to me. I'm going to go ahead and give it a try one more time. And I've had people do that and I wish them luck, but then they often boomerang back to me and they call me or they email me and they're like, that didn't work. So what do I do now? I feel humiliated, or I loaned that family member so many thousands and they didn't pay me back. Or I called my mom and all she did was talk about herself. Like there's some kind of letdown. So I think sometimes we're caught in limbo between what we desire and what is truth. You know what I mean? And so that dichotomy and that friction between what I desire and what really is, that can keep you from healing. It can keep you going around and around in circles, almost like chasing your own tail, because it's hard to figure out what to do sometimes. I often encourage my clients to eliminate the confusion by just stepping back and giving yourself that room to heal, to think, to process, to figure it out, and then in some way find some peace. And then once you develop and you grow, then maybe you can go back and try to make things work. But I think for the most part, allowing yourself to heal consists of getting out of that tug of war between what you desire and what really is. So allow yourself to heal. Also, reassess as needed. Sometimes families um, are torn apart, and then interestingly, after life has its way with us in terms of we experience pain, grief, loss, heartache, hard days, miserable times, all that hustle and bustle of daily life and just life in and of itself, all of its disappointments, whatever. Sometimes family, after they've been away during all of that, they can bridge back together and they can come back together and be wonderful and loving family members, and it's almost like a complete revamping of the family, the dynamic. That's a possibility. And so kind of reassess. Is it okay to go back in and try to make this work, or is it not? What if I just take a whole year and leave them alone and then go back the year after? So always reassess, because you don't want to slam the door on family members that may have changed or that you still love, or that's, they still love you. So and last but not least, guys, I'm going to say consider self-development for yourself. You guys are doing that on this channel just by participating. That's self-development, number one. Number two is going online, going to Amazon, Barnes and Noble, whatever bookstore that you have, and finding books that cater to your needs. So how to heal from a toxic family, how to grieve loss, right? How to deal with triangulation, how to identify a sociopath. Those kind of books and topics and articles and videos, soak those up, because the more knowledgeable you are, the more you can heal. It's when you're in the dark that the pain continues, right? And that you continue to be a victim to what your family is doing to you. So consider self-development. Now, let me give you a few ideas of self-development. Again, books, all of that is great, but also psychotherapy. If you find a really good psychotherapist, cling to them and learn from them and grow and allow them to engage you. I think trauma therapy is the best thing to go into when you have a toxic family. So consider that. Existential psychotherapy, which is my way of doing therapy, which is spiritual. It kind of touches what your soul and your heart is dealing with while also working with your thoughts. So existential psychotherapy is also helpful. Coaching and really delving into spirituality can be helpful. Education, again, setting concrete goals for yourself along the way in terms of family. So setting the goal that I'm only going to text every now and then, or I'm not going to allow people to run over me anymore. I got to a point right after my college graduation, maybe 13 or so years ago, 15 maybe. I got to a place in my family where I said, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I don't like this. Why do I have to deal with this? And so I kind of had to set some goals for myself. And when I sat down and I wrote down my goals and I became a little bit more objective and less emotional, I realized what I needed to do. So set some goals for yourself. What are you not going to allow anymore? And what are you going to kind of be flexible with? So I hope this was helpful to you guys. I'm going to go back to the comment section below and answer some things, and then we're going to wrap up. All right, so let me look at this. So oh, Miss US Hostage says, oh no, how long ago did this restart? No, you didn't miss anything. You're good to go. TNT says, my mother is not a bad person, just mentally ill. She has no self-awareness. TNT, it sounds like, if you've heard of this before, anosognosia. Anosognosia. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write it down because you guys are probably like, what? Okay, so anosognosia. Don't tell me how I know how to spell it. I don't know. I just do. Anosognosia. Okay. Google this because here's what it is. It's you have a severe mental illness, and it's actually a neurological condition that blinds you to the fact that you have a mental illness. So it complicates things for people with schizophrenia and people with really untreated and poorly treated bipolar disorder. They can't see themselves because they're so sick. They're not well. Noella Rose says labeling is like storing a mental note you can refer back to when you need to create boundaries. Yes, we need to switch seats, Noella. I love that. Labeling is like storing a mental note. Yeah, I agree. I very much agree. I agree. Okay. Tana, I'm not used to seeing you, Tana. So welcome to the channel. She or he says, thank you for your work. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you for saying that. Thank you. Very glad that you were finding value in this conversation. Jeanette says, you can't go back unless you're willing to be back in your old role. They don't grow. They don't expect you to grow or change. So that's why they trigger you to feel like an abused kid. Again, that's a very interesting dynamic, and I agree with you, Jeanette. And that's why I'm saying it's best to step back sometimes and work on you, self-development, grow, learn, because then that way you create a new you that can't be pushed into the old role anymore, because you've become so firm in who you are as a person, as a woman, as a man, as a human. So I agree with that. They will try to push you back into your old role. Grow first, heal first, get this down, know it, right? Live it, breathe it, the reality of what's going on. And then maybe you can go back. Maybe. I don't know. Fairy Girl says, my middle brother and I were both, and younger brother was more forgotten child till I dropped out. I get you. Okay. So I think I missed the conversation there, but I think what Fairy Girl is saying is that she and her middle brother and her younger brother were kind of like forgotten until she dipped out. I like that, Fairy Girl. I think what I'm understanding from that is the roles are a little bit different for each of you, but once you stepped out, right, maybe your younger brother wasn't the forgotten child as much, and that could be possible if I'm understanding you correctly. That usually happens. Cherry's Jubilee says, freedom is amazing. Yeah, I think so. I think it is too. TNT says, thank you. Yes, you're welcome. Miss US Hostage says, yes, girl, me too. Jeanette Pettifor says, I've always said family is an F word and holidays are hell. I mean, it depends on how you see that, you know. Sounds like you've had a pretty rough journey with your family, so I don't blame you for feeling that way. And holidays are completely chaotic. They are like the fiery place. I very much agree. Okay, so hello, my queen said, welcome to the channel as well. I don't remember seeing you. Just discovered my father as a narcissist, just like my sister. In my 40s, I am the only one. I am the only one taking care of my mother, and it's been that way. For the past 20 years, I asked my father for help and he laughed. Of course, because, first of all, I'm sorry that that happened to you. Hello, my queen. The other thing is, narcissists are constantly looking for a way to be above. And to ask a narcissist to help is like, for them, it's like a slap in the face, right? Because they want to be on top. They want to look better. They want to be better. They want to be big. And so you being humble and saying, can I need your help? That's giving them the stage. That's giving your dad the stage to just be like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm too good for that. Narcissists are pretty interesting people. They're interesting. Susan Abner says, my mom is in a nursing home, 84 years old, has narcissistic personality diagnosis. Wow. As well as bipolar and a few others. I have limited contact. I mean, I don't blame you. So let me kind of give a little bit of knowledge on this one. Bipolar disorder is a mental illness. So you can actually treat that. You can do therapy. You can offer medication. The list goes on. Narcissistic personality disorder, it's not a mental illness. It's really like a character pathology. It's a character flaw. And what happens there is you can't medicate and you can't necessarily do therapy with a narcissist. They only go to therapy when they are threatened with divorce, they are threatened by a place of employment, they want to look better to the community, or it has to be something that involves their ego that pushes them into therapy. And so you can't treat narcissistic personality disorder necessarily. I don't profess to be an expert on personality disorders. I'm just giving you my professional and personal experiences with these kind of disorders. But I would never go into a therapy session with a narcissist. Honestly, it's like going into a therapy session with a substance abuser. Like, you're not going to get anywhere. They're going to run loops around you. And perhaps everything you said during that session, it'll be forgotten when they leave. So it's not even worth it. Create account. Thank you so much. I love that. They say, I wish everyone a very healing day. Yeah, thank you so much for that. That's very sweet. Tian, I don't remember seeing you either, Tian. So welcome to the channel. He or she says, seems like family is nothing but your spawn point. I mean, I'm not quite sure what I mean by that. I'm just going to say, I think there's a lot of toxicity in families. And I really do think that we need to normalize that, and somehow find some way to heal, you know? Okay. TN says, makes me wonder if connection is even real sometimes. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I think I do, but I don't want to answer you if I'm incorrect. So I'm very sorry. I'm not following that. I'm sorry. Okay. You guys are awesome. I'm going to go back to Noella because she has a comment here. She says, we lost a family member this year, but nothing has changed. Still very unhealthy dynamics. I'm finally accepting I need to move on and find happiness. Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'm very sorry for your loss, number one. And number two, I'm sorry that didn't spark a brand new set of behaviors. The same thing happened in my own family when my dear grandmother passed away. Instead of the family coming together, I saw the toxicity starting all over again. And thankfully, my grandmother was wise enough to kind of put me in charge of almost everything, to where I think she realized that the toxicity was starting as she was sick. And so I was able to get in there and say, nope, we're not going to do that. We're not going to talk that way. We're not going to do this. You're not going to do that, you know? And so sometimes families, when there is death, there's a lot of toxicity that comes out and it seems to get worse. It really does. So I'm sorry that you had to go through that. That's not normal. I'll put it that way. A death should bring you closer, not separate you. Um, okay, you guys are wonderful. Noella Rose, love the hearts and the rainbow. Thank you, thank you. You guys are amazing on here with each other. So I want to encourage you to just keep being support for each other. And I hope this channel is healing to you in the sense that you see there's other people that are suffering. It's not just you. I'm going to sign off, guys. I want to answer Sharon Dukes though really quickly and just scan and make sure I didn't miss anything. Shannon Dukes, welcome to the channel. I see you say that you are new. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. No, I see that you are new. YouTube's showing me that you're new. New. She says, she or he says, very hard to find community. Been hard to trust myself. Healing has been so challenging. Yeah, healing is very challenging and finding community. Which is why I have my channel so that you can kind of start with me. And then as you go along, hopefully find better avenues to help support you. And yes, it is very hard separating from family. It's really hard. Okay. I'm going to keep skimming. Ricardo says, holidays are now a beach day for me. Yes. Create account says, Dr. Hill looks so lovely as always. I really love the outfit. Thank you. I love you for saying that. I actually, okay, I'm going to stand up for a second. I actually changed my pants this morning. I had on like these interesting patterns. And I went over to my mom's house and my mom's like, I'm over 30. Okay. And my mom's like, I'm like, okay, I'll change. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Keep going, keep going. Cherry's Jubilee says, just walk away. I agree. Susan Abner says, yes, it's been a long, difficult life. I was her caregiver for 5 years. Thank you so much for your commitment to this work. Yes, you're welcome. And thank you so much for saying that. Being a caregiver to a mom who's unhealthy, unfathomable abuse, emotionally, psychologically, that you can go through, sometimes even physical. It's horrible. Crystal Turner, welcome to the chat, says, my hubby has a very toxic situation with siblings. They have definitely overstepped boundaries to the point even trying to promote us divorcing. I can see how much it hurts, and he is in his 50s. Yeah. Ugh, I don't even know what to say to that one. I feel like boundaries is really needed there. And the development of thick skin, sometimes if you can't get away from a family member, a parent, whatever, developing thick skin is sometimes the best way to go if you can. It's easier said than done. All right, I can talk to you guys. You're welcome, Cherry's Jubilee. I just saw you. You're welcome, Sunflower Heather. I'm glad and I'm so grateful. Create account, and you're welcome. I can talk to you. Thank you so much, Cherry Jubilee, for such a sweet contribution. I appreciate that. I'm going to sign off, guys. I will be back on May the 15th. I forgot what my live video is going to be then, but I will be back. Thank you so much for your wonderful, wonderful dedication to the channel, your comments, your lovely comments and support and everything. You guys are wonderful. So have a good night. I will see you soon. And on Sunday, I will be posting a video. I promise that I'm going to be posting a video either on extrasensory perception and how PTSD can lead to that, or I'm going to post a video on malingering family members. So we'll see. I'll toss that up. But I will see you guys then. I'll see you in the chat section. Bye, guys. Have a good night. All right. Bye, guys.